I am coming to you today to show you this cute card that I just put on the screen there. It's a new fold that I came up with, and I am calling it the Fold and Tuck. And I hope that you enjoy. I'm highlighting the stamp set, this lovely U stamp set and die and a punch. They come in a bundle, and I'm going to show you. The card does not use the punch, but I will show you how the punch works and why you definitely want to get the bundle when you purchase that, because you get the 10% discount. So I hope that you enjoy this project. I'm going to click over here so that I can chat with you while I'm showing you the card. So let me show you how it works first. So I think I showed this to my downline. I demoed it in an event that my upline did, but I don't think that I did a video, and somebody was asking me if I had a video yet, and I was like, I felt like I did, but I didn't see it anywhere. So hopefully this isn't redundant. But this this locks under this little tab right here. And then this comes open, and then the card actually opens. So you have, yeah. So what I think I had showed this and asked people to help me name it, but I guess I'm going to call it the Fold and Tuck. And anyways, so here we go. First thing, I am using Petal Pink as my base card, and I just cut that at 4 1/4 inches on the long edge, and then scored it at 5 1/2, so that it will be a tall opening card, bottom opening, I guess you should say. And then I have an inside piece which I cut just a hair under 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Because I want to cover most of the inside, but I needed it to not be too big because of the folds and everything. So that's just a hair under a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. Okay, and then I have a piece for the fold part. This is 3 3/4 inches tall, and I just cut it on the 8 1/2 side. I scored it in half at 4 1/4, and then I cut 3/4 inch off the front side, because I want it to end to the edge. And I say 3/4, but it looks more like an inch. I think it might be an inch I cut off of here. Okay, so that piece will go there like that, and then I use our what do I do with them? I used our stitched rectangle framelits, and a lot of what was done here is done with these. So for this, yeah, this is jade, just jade. So I used the third one in to cut the just jade piece. I'm just going to pull these out as I show you. So that's that one. And then I took a square of paper of the, oh, I forgot to tell you, this is Calypso Coral. So I took a square of that, and this same, yeah, this same piece, and cut that. And then I scored it from one corner to the other, okay? And then I just trimmed it. So you can see here where the square is starting to come back over here. Then I just trimmed it about a 1/2 inch from that fold, because you'll want that to tuck underneath. So this is part of the tuck. The tuck part gets glued. Okay, so I'm showing you how I cut these pieces first, so that it hopefully will make sense to you. And then I need well, you'll cut 4 pieces of your smallest, I'm going to say smallest, but these are all pretty small, but this one is maybe the most square of the rectangle pieces. So, and it's sort of by itself over there, and it probably the one I use the most. So you will cut 4 of those, and then I came back and I cut this piece again. I cut a little bit off of there to make this square. This one's a little off kilter. My helpers didn't cut that quite square, but the easiest way to do this is to just line this back up on those cuts. and you can feel it once you get in the groove, and then just run that back through. So you'll actually be cutting this 4 times. Or you can just take another one of the dies and make a mark where you want to cut it, and just run that across like that to get that cut off. So whichever's easiest for you, you can do. Okay, so that's enough of the cutting stuff. That's the pieces that you need. And let me get those back out of the way here. All right, so let's start stamping and assembling our card. Let me get some scrap paper here. I'll put the pieces aside that we're not going to work on right away. All right. Okay, let's start with the white pieces. Let's get those all stamped. And we also are going to stamp this piece. Don't forget to stamp that before you put that together. Because that is very hard. My sample, I stamped it afterwards because I was, you know, as you're stamping and designing, you're sort of like figuring things out as you go. All right, so I'm going to start with, go ahead and do this one so I don't forget. I'm using Calypso Coral and just adding a few flowers to the flat part. Let me get one more down here. All right, so that piece is finished. All right, got to make sure these are turned the right way here. All right, I'm going to change this up just a tad. When I did this design, we didn't have the Just Jade ink yet, so it was really nice to be able to play with that. So I'm bringing that in now, and I'm adding the leaf, and I'm going to put that down here for the bottom one. And then, let's see. You'll need to ink some of this with markers because these stamps have like the full flower, so you'll have to use your markers to ink some of those. And I'm going to see if this heartfelt fits on here. Didn't stamp that very good. Well, thank goodness there's a marker for fixing those things. There we go. That's better. All right, and then up in this corner, I'm going to ink the same flower that I used for this. Sorry, I forgot to turn that off. And then I'm going to waste an image. I want it to be lighter, so I'm getting rid of some on the scrap paper, and then I'm going to stamp that here. Okay, so those two are done. This one needs done yet, and that one gets this little guy. And this one again has the flower along with the stem. So I'm going to use my marker and I'm going to ink. I usually try to ink the lightest color first so that in case those colors get onto the marker, they won't ruin the other color. And then I'm going to use Misty Moonlight, or I'm sorry, Just Jade. Hopefully I'm holding this where you can see it. Alrighty, and then I'm just going to huff on that and stamp it. Alright, and one more. I'm going to use this large one, and I'm going to color that the same with my markers. I will tell you on my sample, I went like this. So if you don't have the markers, it is pretty easy to just I'm just looking line of sight right down this pad and lining up the flower with it. And you can get a little more color on it if you like to do that. I'm not getting far enough. There we go. So you can see I turned my light down a little bit because there was such a glare, and now I feel like it's not enough. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and add this jade color down here. All right, and that's going to go on this piece that is our flap. Okay, now we have all those pieces stamped. I do want to stamp something on my inside white piece, so while we're stamping, I'll go ahead and do that. And I think I want the same flower, and I really like the darkness that I get with the pad, so I'm going to ink it there. You get pretty good at that after a while. Some stamps you can't do that with, but this one has a bit of divide there, so it's pretty easy to get those. Okay. All right, let me close these really quick so that I don't make a huge mess. And we'll get rid of those. All right. So we can start putting together now. And this is a little tricky. I will tell you that you definitely want to, when you position this piece, you want to have it towards the bottom, because when you get to when you close it there, this is going to go on the front. And if you put this up too high, you can see how your green piece is you're going to end up bringing it down here, which I guess wouldn't be terrible, but I like the sort of the 2/3 look of putting it up there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and fold this piece and give it a good crease. And then, looks like I got a little edge there. Okay, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus because I think that should be good enough to really hold my pieces together. Well, I guess I didn't pull it up far enough. And because I really need that to hold, because it's going to do a lot of moving, I'm putting a whole row of that on there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wrap this around the front. Now this piece inside here is going to be glued to the back, but I'm going to wrap it around the front just to get a good position on it, because I want this piece to line up and be centered. So I'm just gonna, well, you need like 3 hands to do this. Okay, so I'm lining it up there and I'm just sort of centering this at the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to fold this under, and it's going to stick to my Calypso coral piece back here. All right, hopefully I didn't get it over too far that it's sticking to the whole thing, but we'll see. All right, good to go. Now there is a little bit here, so I'm going to go ahead and just remove that so it's not sticking out. Okay, so that piece is completed and it's ready to glue down. So now I will go ahead and get my adhesive put all over the back here. You could use tear and tape, you could use some green glue, Tumbo, multi-purpose glue, but you definitely want something that's going to really hold here. Once again, I'm going to put this over the front and center it, and then when I close it, I will be able to glue that right to the back of the card. All right, let me just review where we've gone here. All right, so there's our pieces, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the center in so that when we're finished with the outside, I don't need as much glue here because this is just a flat piece. So I'm just going to put a little bit of here and there, and this will cover that where this is joining here. There we go. You can just see a little bit of the edge. Okay. All right, we'll close that, close that. Now I'm ready to put my green piece on, or my jade. I shouldn't call it green. And I want to get the right side. I also don't want to glue the top because I only want it to stick to the Calypso coral piece here. So I'm going to just, I'm having issues here right now. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. There we go. So we'll get that glued on there. And I'm just going to center it so that each side is even. And there we go. Now, these are ready to go on. And I'm going to glue those on flat. I'm not going to put a dimensional on those because this little piece will have a dimensional, and this card has enough dimension. It doesn't need the dimensionals yet. So let me go ahead and let's see. This one goes on the bottom. This one goes in the center. Actually, I like to put the top and bottom first because that way I can fix, like I can move it around to get it lined up if I need to. And it doesn't look terribly even there. This one looks like I got it over a little bit too far. Let me see if that will come off. This adhesive is supposed to be really good, so fortunately I didn't press it down yet. All right, that's not too bad. All right, I got those like I like them. All right, now I'm ready to put this piece on. And what I want it to do is I want one dimensional under here so that this can just be catching the little catch. However, I'm seeing that my heartfelt is a little bit in the way, so I'm going to have to move it down a little bit as opposed to directly centered. So I'm just going to move it down here a little bit. And what I had my friends do at class is I had them go ahead and put the dimensional on their card. That way they didn't have to figure out where it was going to go on here. So I'm going to put it right there so that it's right past the flap. And then I can put this in place, watching the words to make sure I'm not covering them. And it goes like that. Okay? So there we are, unflap, open, and open. All right? So that is the fold. What did I say? Fold and tuck? Fold and tuck. Now, one thing, whenever you go to close it and open it, I suggest you twist it a little bit, because my card, you can see, has been through the mill and it got bent. And once it bends, once it bends, it wants to bend all the time. So you want to make sure that you don't bend that. Now I'm seeing this is standing up pretty good. So I'm going to go back over this and just give it a good crease on the edges. And there we go. Okay. Now one more thing we have to add, and that is our embellishments. Now I will tell you, I'm using we were able to pre-order some stuff back in May, and so these are the in color enamel dots, which I love. However, they're faulty. I don't know if you can see here. This is not a dot. This is just the back of a dot. And so they were coming apart. And so Stampin' Up! Is fixing that. So they are on back order right now. So I wasn't able to use those in class, so we improvised. But what I did was I colored this one with my Cajun Craze blend, because these are in colors and I didn't have a Cajun Craze in there. So I did color this with my blend just to make it a little bit more colored. And we'll see if I can get these to stay together till I get them on my card. And then I took the Just Jade ones and I added 3 of them right up here past this. Aren't they so pretty? I just love how shiny they are. And that is it, guys. That is the fold and tuck card. I gotta learn the name of my card if I'm gonna tell people about this, right? All right, I hope you enjoyed. I do want to tell you, I did promise you that I would show you a little bit about the rest of the bundle, and I did. I think I showed it to you once before. This is the mini tags punch that comes with the stamp set, and I'll show you with this card. I did the little tag on the end of this. So this is a 1-inch piece, and I'm using this side that I want to say it's the more masculine look, and I'm just tucking that 1-inch piece down inside of there, and you can see how it just fits down in that slot. I'm also going to check the back just to make sure that it's lined up well, and then I'm going to give it a quick punch. Excuse me, turn it around, do the other side, and once again check the back and then give it a punch. And that's how quick and easy it is to do that punch. So like I said, you will definitely want to get this bundle together and save the 10%. So you can go to my website, you can order this. I think this is available yet. I know there's a lot of things going on back order and unorderable very quickly. So if there's things that you really want, don't hesitate. Make sure that you pop in and get those, or you might have to wait till the next shipment. Things are just, I guess we're selling too well. I don't know. They try to project how things are going to sell, and sometimes it's really hard to figure that out. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope that that was enjoyable. I hope that you'll go try the fold. Post it. Link me if you're posting it, and or post it on this page. I should say on our Facebook page, because I think I set that up that you guys can post things, because I'd love to see what you're making. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me. Hope you have a good day. God bless.